When people say they are struggling financially, that they would never reach financial independence, I say, show me your budget. And there is usually one line item that I see on everybody's budget that has this complaint about not having enough money. And it is the automobile, that car payment, that lease payment, how much they are spending on just maintaining the car. And so on today's video, we are gonna break down exactly why your car is keeping you poor. Hey guys, it's Aman
and Christina
from Our Rich Journey.
In today's video, we are going to be breaking down why cars are so terrible for your finances, how they drain your wealth, and what you can do to escape the cycle. Now let's start off with the true cost of owning a car. Most people just look at their monthly payments, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. When you add up the cost of insurance, gas, maintenance, depreciation, and interest on loans, the average American spends more than $10,000 a year on a car. That's more than $800 a month. Now, if you are financing a car, the interest alone can add thousands of dollars to the sticker price. So it's no wonder why cars can be such a massive wealth killer.
Now let me just pause for a minute and talk about depreciation since you mentioned it. One of the worst things about depreciation is the moment you drive off the lot. Your car loses 10 to 20% of value just leaving the parking lot after you bought it. And after 5 years, most cars lose about 60% of their value. So for example, let's say you bought a car for $40,000. In 5 years, that same car would only be worth $16,000. That is a loss of $24,000. Talk about a depreciating asset. No, a liability.
Now, another problem is that most people don't buy their cars outright. They finance them. And the average car loan term is now over 6 years, with the average monthly payment being $700 a month. And the worst thing about this is that a lot of people roll negative equity from their old cars into new ones, which creates this never-ending cycle of debt.
Now these numbers are staggering, and it goes to show that instead of building wealth, you are paying interest on a depreciating asset. That is the definition of a bad investment.
Now, keep in mind that cars are also a driver of lifestyle inflation. So as people tend to make more, they tend to spend more on cars, a flashier car, and that often comes along with a bigger monthly payment.
Yeah, you make more money, so you feel like you have to drive a fancier car to show that you are doing well, to show that you are making more money. It is one of the worst symptoms of lifestyle inflation. In fact, I also think it's a trap that keeps you working just to keep up with your car payments. Instead of growing your savings, you're spending more to impress people that probably don't even care. So based on all this, it's obvious why cars are a serious drain on your budget and can be preventing you from moving forward on your financial independence journey. Now, for a lot of us, we can't avoid owning a car, but there are some alternatives that you should consider.
The first thing is to buy used. Let someone else take that depreciation hit. A reliable used car can actually save you thousands of dollars.
I love that. It's like the example that we talked about earlier. Let that other person pay that $40,000 for that new car, and you wait 5 years and get that same car for $16,000. You are saving $24,000, and that means that's $24,000 that you can invest for your financial independence. Now, one of the complaints you will often hear from people about used cars is that used cars don't have the latest technology, they're not as safe. All these different things for reasons why a person should be buying a brand new car. Well, the argument that I would have is that car technology is not changing that significantly. These days, a car that is 5 years old is relatively similar to a new car because these features are so standard. The safety features, the Bluetooth, the TV screens, all of these things are found in cars that are used. There is no reason for you to have to spend $24,000 more on a new car because you want the latest and greatest features. It's just not worth it.
The next tip is to pay cash. If you can avoid financing altogether, you can save thousands of dollars. Now, not everyone is in the position where they can pay cash all at once up front, but if you pre-plan, you can start setting money aside each month so that by the time you're ready to purchase your next car, you have that money saved up in order to pay cash.
The next thing is maybe you try to avoid owning a car altogether. Consider ride sharing or carpooling. You don't have to own the car in that carpool situation, but you can help the car owner by kicking in a little bit for tolls and gas or electricity in this day and age, but instead be a passenger.
And another thing, if you live in a big city where you might not necessarily need a car, you can do things like Uber or Bolt or Lyft. These are great ways to get one-off rides, but also avoid those monthly car ownership fees.
And this is something we did when we lived in Lisbon. Instead of buying a car, we used rideshare apps. And whenever we needed a car for a long trip, we just rented a car for that trip. This saved us a ton of money. Now, when you combine ride sharing with public transportation or biking, it can save you even more money. You are avoiding all of those expenses that we talked about earlier. The monthly car payments, the insurance, the depreciation, the maintenance. All of these things are not your responsibility when you do not own a car. So if you are on this journey and you want to consider ways to expedite this journey, consider not owning a car at all, if you can. You see, the goal with all of these tips is to minimize your expenses so that you can redirect that money towards saving, investing, and building wealth.
So let's put this into perspective. Let's say you're able to save $800 a month by avoiding a car payment, and instead you're able to put that $800 into the stock market. Now, let's say you get an 8% return over 10 years. That would mean you'd have over $150,000.
And that's just a conservative 8%. The stock market has been returning a lot more, 10 to 12%. So imagine what the growth of that $800 a month could be. It could set you on a trajectory towards financial independence a lot quicker.
So cars are generally a necessary expense for a lot of people, but they don't need to be a financial trap. By making smarter decisions, you can keep more of your money and invest that for your future. So we would love to know, what are your strategies for keeping your car costs low? Leave a comment below and share with the community. And of course, if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.